The idea of thoughts create reality and manifestation has so much more potential than this, like, force yourself to believe something and script it and visualize it and only believe that thing and then poof into your perfect utopia, your dream life. It you can probably script something enough and do all the manifestation techniques and eventually be in that reality, but ultimately, that would be born of self limitation and self deception because it bypasses the part where you're literally molding your reality by exploring your chosen perspective. I have intuitively never done the or committed to the manifestation techniques that are often talked about, and I've been into this spirituality shit for over 10 years. I have just always been like, this feels like, why would I lie to myself? Like, why would I force myself to believe something? And, like over a decade later, I'm understanding why. It's because it bypasses the fun, the magic of literally exploring your perspective. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm realizing, oh, it's because all of these conditioned perspectives that we're taught are like dream realities are usually like it's not a one size fits all. We all think we want to manifest our dream house or our dream, this or that. And it's like these are conditioned beliefs. What we're actually trying to manifest is usually a feeling, a vibe, right? A baseline internal experience. Not to say like there's never a reality in which you're always feeling good and everything is fine, but we're more likely trying to manifest a baseline internal experience. And usually what is happening is people are associating what we're conditioned to associate with that internal experience, which is usually material or some sort of agenda that's pushed on us, and we're conditioned to associate that with our baseline internal experience. Okay. And so what I'm realizing as I'm starting to see my reality shift is that as I explore different perspectives and choose different perspectives, my reality naturally shifts. I didn't have to do any sort of weird techniques. I didn't have to visualize. I didn't have to script. I didn't have to do magic. I didn't have to do any of this extra hard work. All I had to do was examine my internal world and my actual perspectives. And this is actually pretty logical, okay? So if we take into consideration that every single situation it has many perspectives, many different angles to which you can look at that perspective. And we take into consideration how the unconscious mind works. The unconscious mind has something that I've seen referred to as predictive coding, where it literally is basing what it's focusing on based off of what it predicts, okay, what it is used to, what your current perspective and understanding of the world is. That's what your unconscious mind is going to pick up on and notice, okay? So if your current perspective of a certain situation is that you want a house on a lot of land because that's the only way for you to have privacy, freedom, and nature, then your perspective that you're choosing, that you are conditioned to believe, is telling you that is only showing you opportunities for how you can potentially get a house on a plot of land in nature. This is a perspective that I had that has been worked out of me because what I realized while essentially like examining my own beliefs and my own perspective is that I was associating, like, so for me, what I want to manifest is a life in which I have a lot of free time to do what I want with and easy access to nature. Okay. And so I thought that because I'm conditioned to believe so, I thought the only way that I could have that, a lot of free time to do what I want and easy access to nature, the only way to do that is to own a home on property. Okay. And my perspective was actually limiting me And my mind is focusing on opportunities to make more money and how do I get into the right place with nature and da 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 da. And it's limiting me. Okay. And slowly over the last 3 years, I have come to this point where I realized I don't actually want to own a home on property. Why is that? Because for me, what freedom uniquely means for me means less responsibilities. And if you own a home and you own property, you have more responsibilities. If something goes wrong, you're responsible for it. You have to make sure that you can always make enough money to deal with that. Versus if I stay where I currently am, I have less responsibility. Somebody takes care of that kind of stuff for me. And I have easy access to nature. It's already all around me. Okay. So I have changed my perspective to one where I realize I'm already living in the reality that I want to live in. It's not always going to be this way. Like, obviously, perspective shift can carry you into the reality naturally. But as I slowly realized, this is like I'm in this reality that I already wanted to be in. Easy access to nature, not a lot of responsibility to take care of my environment. My unconscious mind now shows me opportunities for, hey, this is what you wanted. Here it is. Go do this. Go enjoy nature. Go create. Go, make use of your free time. Whereas before I realized it, my unconscious mind was telling me, you have to hustle. You have to blah, blah, blah. You have to. So I'm like forcing myself out of this dream reality that I already am in because I'm associating freedom, free time, easy access to nature. And another thing I wanted was like to have like a lot of free time for creativity. So in a space of freedom and creativity with easy access to nature. Those are the three things I wanted. I'm already in it. Okay. Before, my brain, my unconscious was recognizing opportunities to hustle so that I could get the fake thing that I was conditioned to believe is associated with these things. But now that my brain has chosen the perspective and understood my true perspective through discovery, through contemplation of what my true perspective is, my unconscious mind, my predictive coding, notices opportunities to make use of the reality I'm already in. And so this thoughts create reality manifestation, which is actually perspective shapes reality, is this idea to me that we're not creating something out of nothing. We're not creating something new. The thing is already there, and there's nothing magical about it. Literally, the situation is allowing one's mind to consciously explore alternative perspectives of a situation. And as you're molding your alternative perspective to choose one that fits with you better, with that is like more in alignment with you, your unconscious mind will naturally notice opportunities to shift your internal experience to be able to better make use of the reality that already exists, that is already available to you. If I would have scripted my way into my own home on my own property, I would have ended up hating my life because I would have ended up in a reality that actually was not in alignment. But taking my reality and examining the different perspectives and molding my perspective to fit what I want it to be has allowed me to make best use of the situation I'm already in. I would have been miserable if I had to do all the hustling required to manifest my own home. And this can be applied to so many things. I'm currently molding my perspective on like luck and control to the understanding that rather than, I've traditionally felt myself to be unlucky, okay? Rather than viewing myself as unlucky, I view myself as having the ability to understand how to avoid consequences and viewing myself as having the ability, having the potential to have the insight and the guidance to avoid consequences which is something that has been a very active process for me. Like, the whole thing about this and why I think people prefer to force themselves to believe something that they're conditioned to believe and script about it and visualize it and all this other shit. People prefer to do that because the actual active role of exploring your perspective and what you want, what you truly want internally, and shifting and molding your internal experience to fit what it already exists, that is an active process. And the thing is it technically, I don't even know if it would take longer. You're doing more active work, but because you're more involved in what's happening, it is more aligned with you. It's more honest. It's more truthful to what you're actually aligned with, right? So I never force myself to manifest, do manifestation techniques, force myself to believe that, oh, I live in my dream home. Okay. Because I knew that, that would be dishonest. I don't believe that. I don't believe I'm currently in my own home on a piece of property. However, what I wanted to manifest was an experience that I already have access to. Okay. And so with control and with luck, right? Like, choosing the perspective that I am able to have intuitive insight in how to avoid consequences. I have access to intuitive insight on how to avoid consequences that are natural consequences for the laws of nature and the laws of reality. It has reprogrammed my predictive coding, my unconscious mind, in such a way that my unconscious mind now notices opportunities to essentially avoid consequences. So this perspective is slowly molding my reality into one that is one of I am lucky rather than I am unlucky. And it's not really lucky versus unlucky. It's just I'm literally choosing the perspective where I have the opportunities available to me to avoid things that are deemed as unlucky. And so my unconscious mind is warning me, like, hey, do this, get this. And this isn't a poof into a different reality. It's a slowly morphing my internal experience, which does then change my external experience. Even though I'm not living in a whole new reality, like, it kind of is a whole new reality because my internal experience is morphing and molding my external experience as well.